This week is pretty crazy, but not in the way that you think. There's a ton of energy shifts, but you're not gonna feel them as hard until you do. The beginning of the week is pretty chill. There's a lot of potential for opportunities to come in, and then by the end of the week, that's when the fun starts. We've got a Venus square to Uranus who always brings excitement, good or bad. Then Venus will move into Virgo, somewhere she's not super thrilled to be. We have a new moon in the big energy sign of Leo, and just to sprinkle in a little bit more fun because all this wasn't enough for you, Mercury is going retrograde. Let's talk about it. Hey Astro Babes, this is Ashley of More Than Your Sun Astrology, and welcome to As Above, So Below for the week of July 29th through August 4th. In this video, I'll bring light to what the planets are doing up above and how you can expect to see those themes show up for you in your life. At the end, I'll pull one card for additional guidance and clarity. I'm just gonna get right into the fun stuff because the beginning of the week is, dare I say, boring? I mean, it's not super boring. There's potential for opportunities to present themselves that align with your goals for the future. That's pretty fun stuff. The beginning of the week would be good to do something like apply to a new job if your current job is not somewhere you want to stay for a long term. Or like if you're planning to get married, it would be a good time to look for future dates and consider venues, things that would be initiating first steps in the process. Early in the week, both the Sun and Mars will be having favorable conversations with the North Node. The Sun and Mars speak to you, your drive, your ambitions, and taking the action to put yourself out there. The North Node is about where you're headed, striving to achieve your purpose. So the energy is great for taking action steps toward a future goal. That's pretty much the theme for the first half of the week. Then on Friday the 2nd, the energy begins to shift and things get interesting. Venus, whose main topics are finances, your values, and of course relationships, will make a tense square to Uranus, who's a wild card. Wild cards bring uncertainty. You don't know what you're gonna get. It's wild, it's untamed, and the biggest theme it brings up is change. Something's gonna be different, and it's never boring. So if you're in a relationship, Venus topic, you could suddenly have the urge to try something new. You may feel that your relationship has grown stale and boring, and you want to spice things up a bit. There's nothing wrong with that. However, since the conversation up above with Venus and Uranus is tense, this could mean that your partner isn't feeling it. Venus-Uranus is about somebody feeling the need to switch something up. There's a need for excitement, and there's a thin line between honoring commitment yet creating a sense of freedom within the relationship. This is a time to be open with how you feel and be open-minded to other people's ideas and having understanding, realizing that even in a relationship, each person is an individual. There could also just be something unexpected or shocking that comes up within yourself or your relationship, something that you realize about yourself. Maybe the way that you value yourself, like your self-worth, your self-esteem. Uranus can bring this light bulb moment where you have this sudden realization about something that needs to be changed. I want you to remember that transits are temporary. This energy will soon pass, so be mindful of acting on urges and impulses that could have long-lasting effects. I would also caution against impulse buying, just to say that. Watch your spending. This energy is going to be relevant through Sunday the 4th, the day of the new moon in Leo. This is a big day because it's also the day that Venus shifts into Virgo and Mercury stations retrograde. Both these events will influence the new moon energy. I'm going to talk more about this in next week's episode, but what I do want you to be aware of is that new moons are a time to plant seeds and set intentions. The sign of Leo, where this new moon takes place, is about finding your inner courage. Now, Leo energy is a little bit deceptive. Hold on, calm down. Let me tell you what I mean. Leo has this stigma of being brave and courageous, and they are, and they can demonstrate this, but what you don't see all the time is how they have to muster up the ability to display the bravery and the courage. See, on the outside, things can appear very different than the feeling in the inside. Everybody's scared or fearful of something, and sometimes we can allow that fear of the unknown to hold us back. We're scared that if we leave the situation that we're in, then we're gonna be alone. We're scared that if we step out on that stage, we're gonna look stupid, or even worse, we're gonna be rejected. If we go after our dreams, there's a possibility that we can fail, so we stay complacent. The thing about Leo energy is that they can feel all of these fears, yet still find the courage within them to do it anyway. Because there's something about taking the leap and putting yourself out there that's gratifying. And Leos love gratification. So during this new moon, I encourage you to think about what area in your life you need to find courage in. Can you overcome the fear of thought in order to manifest a new reality? Now we need to be very clear on our intentions. Because Mercury is retrograde, this is a time we can reassess how we're moving. We can actually stop and take the time to make edits and adjustments to how we do things before physically taking action to move forward again. New moons bring new beginnings, but first you have to plant the seed for what you want to create. The alignment between Mercury retrograde and the new moon is asking you to consider what seeds you want to plant before moving forward, and how might you find the courage to do so. What you don't want to do right now is actually move forward with something completely new. You don't start anything new when Mercury is retrograde. That is a no-no. I made a video about the top 3 ways you can prepare for Mercury retrograde, and I highly recommend you watch it because it's a time where you can just feel chaos. But in the video, we learn how to turn chaos into calm and how you can get the most out of retrograde energy. That video will be linked in the description down below. If you're still with me, hit that subscribe button so that you always know what's coming up and what to expect. All right, let's wrap this up with a card pull. I'm going to be using the Modern Witch Tarot. It's a wonderful beginner-friendly deck. It's my favorite deck, and if you'd like to purchase one of your own, you can use the link in the description box. As always, I'll be reading the card meaning from the Ultimate Guidebook. You can also find the link to purchase the book in the description box. If you plan on purchasing the deck or the guide, please use my link so I can get a couple pennies from Amazon. What do we need to know this week for our highest good? I pulled the Page of Swords. See what Biddy says. The Page of Swords often emerges when you're exploring a new way of thinking, a new idea, a new perspective, new knowledge, or a new technique. As you explore this fresh way of thinking, you're asking a lot of questions and gathering as much information as possible. The swords relate to communication, and the Page of Swords suggests that you're exploring different ways of expressing yourself with others and communicating your ideas and opinions. All right. So this card is about the new moon and Mercury retrograde. We are excited for new things. We're excited to start new projects. We've got something new brewing in our life, but it's not the time to start it yet. This is the time for planning. Mercury retrograde is the time where we go inward to think and contemplate our ideas so that we're able to implement them on a solid foundation. You feel like there's new things happening. You want to start something new, and you can, but right now you have to make sure that you're considering the best route, the best path. What's the best way that you can do something where you're not going to need to erase and start over again? If you start something now at the time that Mercury is retrograde, chances are there may be some reversals and you may have to do it twice. The Page of Swords is asking you to take your new ideas, find ways to communicate them, but also plan them out prior to taking the action. This can also be about Venus square Uranus and finding new ways to express yourself, being open to changes that might come in, and just understanding that this is a growth period for everyone. Well, I hope that was helpful and brought you some insight on what to expect this week. Let me know if anything we talked about resonated, or if you have a story to share about how you're seeing the energy show up for you. Please let me know in the comments. I love to see the astrology in action, and will read and respond to all comments. Please don't leave without hitting that subscribe button, and if you'd like to book a personal reading to dive into your specific story, you can do so at my website, mtysastrology.com. While you're there, pick up a free copy of my ebook, Everyday Guide to Parenting Children by Their Moon Sign, because we know, as above, so below. We'll see you next week.